Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to this month's LinkedIn webinar. And the topic for this month is how businesses can reduce their employee expenses. So as a lot of people know, the SMBs are experiencing more pressure from their employee costs. And before we go into that, I just want to introduce David Walters, who will be the main presentation. But we want to go through the information of how businesses in 2023 going to 2024 can reduce their cost. So looking at some of the stats, in September, job openings were at 9.6 million vacancies, which is up from 100,000 from August. But at the same time, there was only 6.4 million job seekers. So that's a gap of 3.2 million differences. So looking at this, the demand is outpacing the supply, which in turn is causing a big issue for employers because there's a higher number of quality applicants, and the price for employees is going much higher. So I just want to introduce David Walters and let him start the presentation.
Thanks, James. Yeah, so employee cost, employee availability is a huge problem now for small and medium-sized businesses. And not only are there the 3.2 million vacancies, 9.6 million vacancies and 3.2 million missing people to fill those vacancies, recruiting is getting more and more expensive. And even for a low to middle salary employee, the cost of recruiting is anywhere between $4,000 and $8,000. And it can take a business on average 46 days to fill that position. So if you lose somebody, it can make a huge hit on your business operation, on your business profitability. And these high turnover rates have increased significantly since COVID. There was a great resignation. People have got used to working remotely. So the loyalty and the opportunity to bring an employee in and keep them for the rest of their life is extremely rare. So not only is the high turnover a challenge for businesses, the cost of recruiting, the cost of retention is getting much higher. And also there's the pressure for remote working. People were used to working from home during COVID. And now I saw a stat, 52% of workers either want remote work or the opportunity to work some sort of hybrid deal. So this is all putting pressure on the employer to come up with new ways to keep their staff happy and to find new ways to attract new talent into the business. So this webinar, we're going to be focusing on what you can do to reduce your employee expenses, and also what you can do to keep your current employees happy and reduce the recruiting and the turnover costs.
So before we go into the main topics for this month, some of you may have joined us last month for our webinar. And if you haven't, and this is the first time you're hearing about it, there was a lot of good information for businesses, how they can reduce cost. So we'll just go through last month's webinar topics. And if you want to find them, if you want to go to our business page, you can find the recording there. Or if you can't find it or you have any questions, then you can message us privately. So how we broke out last month's webinar is in 3 sections. So for large companies, we talked about accounts payable solutions and shipping automation and optimization solutions. For smaller companies was tax saving solutions, commercial property cost segregation, R&D tax credits, and credit card processing fee audits. And then as well, we talked about something very special, which is the MasterCard/Visa lawsuit action. And this needs to be claimed by 31st of May 2024. So that was last month's webinar. As I said, if you want to go watch the recording, you can find it on our business page, or you can message us privately on LinkedIn, and we can direct you there and answer any questions that you may have. So as I said, that was last month's webinar, and I'll pass it back over to David to talk about these month's topics.
Thanks, James. And I was on a call actually just before this webinar, looking at the class action suit. And the latest information from the administrator is that they will be sending claim forms out to 16 million eligible businesses starting on the 1st of December. So if you do get a claim form, don't automatically just sign it and send it back. You want to make sure that you're claiming as much as you can. So if your company took any Visa or MasterCard payments from the 1st of January 2004 to the end of January 2019, you could be eligible for a part of that $5.5 billion class action payout. So if you've got any questions about that, by all means, contact us and we'll let you know the best way to maximize the claim. And that's the latest news we had. So 16 million claim forms are going to be mailed out on the 1st of December. But let's go to the main subject for this webinar, and let's look at how we can employ the cost of ownership of our employees, and then the other tools. So the employee tax savings solution that we're recommending to people is very simple. It's for businesses who are US based. They have existing W-2 employees, or they are planning on hiring W-2 employees. So if you hire one new employee a year, you can take advantage of the tax saving solutions that we're offering here. So that's something to look at. So let's just talk about what these solutions are and how much your business can benefit from them. So we have what's called a tax management system, and this system automatically checks your eligibility against hundreds of state and federal tax incentives. Now, you probably remember during COVID, we had the ERC and the PPP. Both of these programs are currently on hold. They may be resuming in January of 2024. But even if these programs are kept on suspension, there are $2.3 trillion of credits and funds available for small and medium-sized enterprises from various federal and state government entities. So there is a load of money available for small businesses to help with employee retention, to help with bringing employees on board. And a couple of these I'll just talk to now, because one of the things that I found as I was doing some research for another client, 30% of SMEs actually claim the benefits due them. That means 70% of small businesses are not claiming money, not claiming these tax credits and federal incentives, which are available to them. And most of the time, that's simply through ignorance. They don't know what they're eligible for. They don't know how to get it. So this system that we're sharing with you is the answer to make sure you maximize the tax credits and the various funds available to you as an employer in the US today. So one of the ones, just as an example, there is a tax credit called the Workers' Opportunity Tax Credit. This is to encourage the employment of individuals in certain demographic groups. And depending on the individual, depending on their situation, depending on your location, you can get as much as $1,500 to $9,600 per eligible employee as a direct tax credit for simply hiring somebody that you're intending to hire anyway. And one of the nice things about the tax management system, it actually has a built-in HR management tool. So you can look at your employees, you can manage your applicants, you can manage your employees, and you can make sure that if you're hiring people, if you have the opportunity to hire an appropriately skilled candidate in one of these eligible demographic groups, you could take $9,600 of tax credit immediately you employ that person. So that's a great one for businesses who are expanding, who are looking to bring on employees. Another one is the manufacturing payroll credits. There are several incentives that come under this one, but this is a bit of a bigger program. If you increase your annual payroll by $1 million or more, you can claim 5% of the increase as taxable deduction. So again, this is for a larger company who will be expanding and bringing on a lot of employees. But for if you hit the criteria of $1 million of payroll increase, you can then get the credit. We spoke about this one last time, specifically the R&D tax credit. But again, this is an employee-based credit. This is for employees that you are using in your business to do research and development. And since 2015, the the definition of research and development has got much, much broader. We're actually doing additional information because this is such a lucrative opportunity. Businesses are just missing, small and medium-sized businesses are missing out on a huge amount of innovation capital that they could get through the R&D tax credit. And as a rule of thumb, you could claim up to $3,400 per eligible employee. So it's a very simple claim. It's a very simple tool to tell you what you can get. And then obviously once you know what you're looking to claim, then we can help you file the claim if that's the way you want to go. But again, the important thing, and something I really want to stress here, only 30% of businesses are claiming any or all of the benefits that's due to them. So there's a huge opportunity for businesses to really get a boost to their cash flow simply by claiming the money that the federal and state governments are offering back to you to continue to run and grow your business. Before we go to same-day pay, what I'd like to do is just do a quick demo for you as to how easy it is to calculate or to get the estimate of your eligibility. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen, and then we'll just work through a very quick example. And just for the sake of argument, I'd just like you to time how long it takes to do this assessment. So let me just bring up the screen, and then we'll just work through this assessment. So James, let's think about a nominal business, and let's just see how quickly we can work out their tax credit analysis.
Sure.
Okay, so what industry should we use?
Why don't we do manufacturing?
Manufacturing. Okay, let's have a look. There's manufacturing. Okay, how many employees in this business?
Let's do 9.
9 employees. Okay, so fairly small business. And how many are they hiring once a year, or how many do they hire annually?
Let's say 1.
Just okay, so 1 new hire a year. So what would be the payroll for this company?
As it's manufacturing engineering, it'd be probably 75,000 per person. So whatever that would work out to.
Okay, so let's do 750,000 then as their annual payroll. And let's see what that gives us. Okay, was the business negatively impacted due to COVID? Well, pretty much everybody was. Manufacturing company probably owns their own facility. So let's say they do have commercial property. Let's say they just have one facility where they're working. Mm-hmm. And it's what would it be? It will be a manufacturing facility. So the name of the building, just call it the building. Okay. Typically, let's say they purchased this in 2020. Okay.
Yeah.
And manufacturing building, I don't know, 750K, I think would be about reasonable for that sort of building.
Reasonable.
Yeah. Okay. So let's have a look. So do you have operations in any of the following states? Well, we're based in Texas, so let's use Texas. And Harris County, I think, is the biggest state in Texas. So let's have a look at that. So that's all the questions we need to answer. So for this manufacturing company, the estimate is a potential benefit of almost $354,000. Now, just to point out, this is a small company. It's only 9 employees. It owns its own facility. And here there is $350,000, almost $354,000 of potential tax benefit. Now, obviously, we'd have to validate the estimate, and we'd have to get one of the analysts to work through with you. But that just shows you how quickly it is, or how quickly you can get the estimate and then decide whether you want to move on to the next stage and do a more detailed analysis. So I just want to show you how easy it is to get that estimate. So don't miss out. It's completely free. There's no obligation, but it's a great way to see what opportunities there are for your business. Okay.
Yeah, and before we move on to the next section, just want to say I dropped that link into the webinar chat, and then also we'll send the link out as well in a follow-up email. So just in case you miss it.
Okay, thanks, James. That's very helpful. Okay, so we talked about how you can get employee tax benefits to help you with the cost of payroll, to help with the cost of recruiting. There's another aspect to this, which is actually retention. So I want to go to the next topic now, which is a great tool, and it's something we're very, very keen on because, again, I was on another call. One of the things that's always struck me as being terribly invidious is that people who can least afford the bank fees are the ones the banks nail with the minimum deposit fees, then the insufficient funds and all that. And I saw that 60% of bank profits on personal accounts comes from overdraft fees and charges. So the people who can least afford it are the ones who are most penalized. So let's look at the next function. This is called Same Day Pay. And this is a tool to help employers retain their staff and also become more appealing. So you have to have 250 employees, but if you do, this is a huge benefit, especially if you're using low to middle income employees in your business. This is a massive benefit for both the employee and for the business owner. So let me just run through some of the details. So what this does is it provides basically a digital bank for your employees to access their wages. Now, what's really clever about this is the employee can access 50% of their earned pay before the formal payday. And this is actually funded by the company. This is not funded by you, the employer. This is funded by the company that offer this service. It's no cost to you as the company. And if the employee waits to the second day after their pay has been accrued, there's no cost to the employee. It also, as a digital bank, it provides a full suite of financial wellness benefits. And it stops employees getting in this debt trap of incurring bank charges or using payday loans. I think I saw that the payday loan business accrues $17 billion a year in check cashing fees. I mean, that's ridiculous because it's penalizing the lowest income in our business. So this is a great tool for your business. If you have low to middle income employees, it's a great benefit to help them reduce the financial stress, to improve their financial position. And also it gives you a huge boost in retention, because if you've got an employee who is now getting used to having this low cost digital banking solution without being scalped by the payday loan people or the banks that are forever charging them banking fees and insufficient fund fees, they're going to stay with you. They're not going to want to lose that benefit. So it dramatically will increase your retention rate, which in turn reduce the turnover costs. It also helps you recruit new employees, because if you've got an employee looking at two similar businesses, and remember from where we started, we are 3.2 billion workers short in this country. Okay, so if you can show a benefit like this to a prospective employee compared to your competitor who doesn't, they're going to work with you. And once you've got them, you are going to keep them longer term. They're going to stay with you much longer because they don't want to lose this benefit. So this is a huge win. And another important aspect, there is no cost to the employer. This is done completely free. There are no integrations required with any of your internal systems. And it's run as a completely free implementation with free onboarding for both the company and the employee. So this is a win-win for everybody. And if you meet that minimum criteria of 250 employees, I strongly recommend you look into this. And if you've got any questions, I'm more than happy to help you address any more questions you may have. So that's talking about same-day pay. There is another employee benefit. I don't have the details. This is called the Free Prescription Program. It's currently being revamped. I think in the original program there were over 600 prescriptions that employees can access. So they pay a very low monthly membership fee, but from that fee they can then get their prescriptions filled for free. So it's called the free prescription program. In the old program, there were over 600 meds that they could access. The new program, which will be relaunched in Q1 of 2024, has over 1,000 medication prescriptions that your employees can access at a very, very low rate. So again, if you've got low to middle income employees who are underserved in their medical insurance or their medical system, they can get this very low prescription option, which again is going to improve their lives. It's going to reduce their financial burden, and it's going to make them want to stay with you even longer term. So I can't give you the details on that. The new program's not been launched yet, but in Q1 of 2024, we'll be able to talk more about that. So that's the employee benefits program. The third one I wanted to talk about is this whole concept of remote working. Okay. Now, we all went through COVID. We all ended up working from home, scrambling to build home offices and do that sort of stuff. And now the statistics are 52% of workers actually want either full-time remote work or at least the ability for hybrid working, where they can take 2 or 3 days a week and work from home and a couple of days where they work in the office. Now, this is a pain for the employer because you've got to retool. You know, traditionally, everybody was in the office. You could walk around to a cubicle. You could talk to somebody. You could pull them into your office. So this is a pain for employers to implement. But there's upside. If you do this properly, there's clear upside for your business. The first one is that you can reduce the amount of commercial real estate you need. So if you could set it up so 50% of your employees had the option to either work remotely, or you had a time sharing, so they, only half the staff were in the office at any time, however it worked for your business, you can immediately reduce your footprint for office space, which gives you a cost saving. You can sublet, or you can release office space to reduce your costs. The other thing you can do is, if you have gone through the process re-engineering to encompass remote working and allow remote working to help with your employees, you can take it one step further. And the next level of evolution from remote work is virtual employees, and this is a huge benefit. Okay. So with this system, you can get graduates who are equally or more highly qualified than a local hire would be. You can bring them into your business working completely remotely, but they can then take the stress off your local hires. So you can provide additional resources to help your local hires get the job done properly. You can use your local hires to do the more customer facing, the more hands-on, the more immediate and direct support for your clients. You can use your virtual employees to provide the admin and the support functions in the background. Depending on the nature of your business, you can actually set it up with your remote employees, your virtual employees. So you have what we call follow the sun support. So 24/7, depending on how you sequence the availability of your virtual staff, you can always have a customer support person, a live customer support person available 24/7 to support the needs of your client. Depending on how you want to do business with your team, you can work either synchronously or asynchronously. So you can, although these employees are based outside the US, you can actually specify that they work US business hours. The staff we're talking about are based in the Philippines, so they're actually 13 hours ahead. But when I first got introduced to this program, I was shocked to find there's 1.5 million Filipinos who work a night shift every night to support US-based companies. It's a huge number, and they've become very, very good at this. So you're getting very high quality employees who can work US business hours and really, really support your in-house, your local team, to take the stress off them, to leave the local team more time to do the direct physical customer-facing activities, to improve the customer experience of your clients. And then there's another real benefit, because we're working with graduates, college graduates in the Philippines. You have the opportunity of saving a huge amount of money when it comes to the cost. So the lady who runs this program is called Anne. I've known Anne for several years now. She is an outstanding businesswoman. She really cares about her clients. She really cares about you getting the best opportunity with your virtual staff. And so what I would suggest you do is just book a meeting with Anne. The URL's down there. So it's very simply meetwithanne.com. And she will then connect you to one of her analysts. They'll work out what your needs are. But the important thing is you can get a college graduate for 67% less than it would cost you to employ a local person. And if that local person just sat in a back office doing support work, or if they're working remotely, you can see a significant saving to your business, bringing on extra staff to make your business work better. And one of the things Anne was telling me is her clients say typically for every virtual employee they bring on, they're saving about $25,000 a year in employee costs. So that's another thing to look at. So what I'd like to do is just briefly run through the topics we talked about. So you can reduce your employee costs with employee tax credits. And we have a calculator on the website here. So you can just go to that website where there is a calculator. And James also put the link in, the direct link to the calculation tool. If you've got any questions, by all means, connect with James or myself through LinkedIn. Be more than happy to talk to you. Or you can hit my calendar link and book a call with me there. So we want to help you save money. We want to help you provide more employment for your local hires, provide better service for your local hires. But also, if you need to save money on your employees, then the virtual employee option is another thing you can look at. And just to close this one out, what I would also like to do is just remind you of the class action suit. So you can look at that link. We're also going to be putting up a tool for you to do the assessment. But that's eligible. Anybody who took MasterCard or Visa payments between January 2004 and January 2019, you could be eligible to be part of a $5.5 billion class action payout. So just contact us and we'll help you do an eligibility check and then show you how to maximize your credit. So that's everything I have for this month. James, is there anything else that I've missed? Is there anything else we need to cover?
No, I believe that you covered everything. As I mentioned earlier, and as you've mentioned as well, we put the link in the chat. If you're watching the recording or you want to go back but you can't find the link, we always send some follow-up emails with some good information, some downloads, anything like that you can refer back to. So the next couple of days, you'll be receiving more emails with some links that we've already posted and some additional information that's going to be beneficial to your business. And then beginning of next week, we'll be sending out our 4th email in our series for this webinar, talking about next month's webinar that you can sign up for more topics. And if there's any topics that you want to learn about or you'd like us to do a webinar on, just let us know and we'll gladly help you out where we can.
Yeah, and next month, I think we're talking about specifically the sort of tax benefits that manufacturing businesses can get hold of. So we'll be doing a deep dive on the R&D tax credit and on the other cost-saving measures that a manufacturing company could do. So it'll be a great one to look at. It will give you a whole series of options that you could apply to your business. So James, again, thanks for your support, and we will see you next month.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.